talk about, when Carson had a lot of headlines from last week. I would prefer not talking about it and not giving it attention. But it's our job to do that. Now, I had a more of a front row seat to this, and then also I get asked, well, why don't you do something about it then? Well, Carson's actually not done anything to me. If he did, then you might see something. But
we're not going to talk about it on the podcast.
At least not afterwards. But I did see something, and I very hesitantly, I don't want to like help them or help him. I think that he's just going to have to learn on his own. But I raced around him and Jesse Love for the bulk of the first stage. And I got to see them. And the one thing that really made me say, so this is what we're all talking about in a nutshell. Jesse Love gets to the inside. I'm right behind them. Jesse Love is working Carson over. Carson's struggling. I made a few moves on Carson. He didn't let me go, which is fine. We battled, and it let Jesse Love into the picture. And Jesse then makes a move on him into turn one. Carson doesn't want to give up the spot. So Jesse comes a little wide. When I say a little wide off of turn one, they touched, but I mean, like that. Like it was so small. Nothing, didn't send Carson off anywhere. It just very, very little contact. And then I watched them, and I'm like, all right, let's see how this goes. And they got in the carousel, and Carson just ran him so far off the racetrack. And it was like, that is the gross overreaction that I think that, for what? People make contact on short tracks and road courses and whatnot. And it's like, I don't know whether it just short circuits something where it's like, I got to do something, like I can't believe he made contact, or I'm not really sure what it was, but I didn't see anything that Jesse did that was like beyond just a normal pass of two guys and neither one is willing to give up the spot, especially when Jesse's on the offense and Carson's on the defense. If you're going to defend your spot hard, you have to expect that the person that's on offense is going to be just as aggressive. And when I saw them off the racetrack in the carousel just a half a lap later, it was like, that's what they've been talking about, right? And that's just the stuff that, how do you let that get to you? Just such a minute little thing. And I don't, it seemed like Cole definitely deliberately did not let Carson back on the racetrack, which is a tough move. But I don't know what Carson did to him before that, but it clearly upset Cole, whatever it was. But what I'm saying to wrap this up is that I can, while I can't see it and I have no proof of it, my guess based off of the reputation and what I saw firsthand, Carson likely did something that one of the competitors said, no, I ain't putting up with that.
And it's one of those things where Cole's probably like, I'm having a rough day. You're having a rough day, but you're about to have a rougher day.
Yeah.
I have a theory, and Carson loves to race online.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see that, you'll see someone kind of get doored or whatever, and the other driver will just instantly door them back or whatever. And I just wonder that, like, playing online and the quick reactions to retaliate impacts his real life driving.
Really, really good point, Travis. I do think that racing has changed over time. I don't know if it's for the better or for the worse. I think it's probably better for the consumer who's watching. I think the racing is as good as it's ever been. But it definitely seems like the reaction of the drivers. And I think that when I came into the series, it was one of the things that like Tony Stewart preached to me, and it was tough coming from Tony Stewart, but it was like, how do you got to find a way to not lose your when someone barely makes contact with you? Like that just happens at Martinsville. And it's the ones that can't get through Martinsville races, and this was, back in the 2010s and not. It's just the people that would just absolutely lose their mind over the simplest little things that didn't affect anything. And then next thing you know, you got your radiators leaking because you went in the next corner and just power drived into to the guy that barely rubbed you.